Good morning, comrades. Thank you for joining me this morning. uh, Thank you for all platforms sharing me. Thank you for everybody who is joining me now. I think EJB Mwonge is occupied. Let me know if you can hear the voice, please, because fellow Ugandans, thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to discuss aging politicians that they won't leave power. Thank you. So, we are going to discuss aging politicians, elderly leaders that will not want to leave power. First of all, I'm going to give you exciting news. The parliament is cracking. The parliament is on power. NUP is performing exceptionally well. You remember I made a live video on Demikiza, and I mentioned about the positions that we had: leader of opposition, advisory committee Namboze, and Sewungu. Then we have God Commissioner Zake, Chairman Konsase, Joel Senyonyi, elderly is Asmani Basalirwa, and the park accounts and the word is gonna be Segona. So today, the parliament is cracking. It's a good time that NUP will enjoy this, and it's good time that we get familiar with what is happening in the parliament, because a lot is decided there, and then we just react aftermath. But I'm going to give you good news. The good news that Namboze stood up high and tall and called on the wife of the so-called leader Museveni, Mukulembeze mukyala wa Museveni. She called her to come in the parliament. She didn't come, and she wanted to go to Kololo, but Namboze stepped on the gas and said, no, that is her responsibility. She must come into the parliament and give us a presentation how schools they are going to be reopened. And she thought it was a joke. And then yesterday, she cancelled her appearance in Kololo. So she must come into the parliament and submit. That is victory. Regardless we are few, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These positions they gave us, the 6 positions, they are good enough to bring down the government. What happened before FDC? They will never say anything. They will never have the courage to call Janet to come into parliament, to cancel her appearance in Kololo. But it happened yesterday. Thank you, everybody. So that is an egg on the face of Janet Museveni. She must come in the parliament and tell the parliamentary what she wants to do with our schools. And then other news. We have Segrinya and Sewanyana. They appeared in court in Masaka, but still nothing was being done. So another news, Toro TV is covering the parliament sections, not UBC. Fellow Ugandans, I want you to pick on this. We have to keep on saying this. How can Toro TV be the one in charge of covering the parliament, but not UBC? That is very significant. And they see people power, NUP, to make noises, because whenever we make noises and they change. Did you know that most of the viewers here, they are NRM? They say, go and watch what she's saying. Go and watch what he's saying. Go and watch a show. To go on JB. Everything. Sorry. I don't want this to happen. It is threatening to go off the computer. If it does, I'll go on my phone. Good morning, Narada. Good morning, Navatanzi. Good morning, everything. So the news keeps on coming and coming, but we are winning, we are winning, we are winning, we are winning. So today I'm going to talk about these elderly people in position of power. Africa, as you can see, we have got an average of 70 years leaders in power. Leaders in power in Africa, they are 70 years. And then when you look at this, you can see in Europe, they are between 40 to 50 years. And when you see Macron of France was 80 years when Museveni came in power, but now he's the president of France. And now you can see is it prime minister or the president of Iceland? She was not even born before Museveni came in power, but the country is running. We've got these dinosaurs into the position of power, and they will not leave power. What are we going to do? We are probing them, we are asking them to leave, and they will leave. It is very, very imperative when you talk about job creation and development of a nation that you have young people into their position. They should be mentored, they should be given work experience, and they should be led to be in charge of their country. It's not about young people, just give them position. I challenge young people to put up yourself. Put up yourself for that. Step on the gas. Step on the ladder. Be responsible. Show organization. Show your skills. Don't keep focused. And then you challenge. I challenge young people in my house to be chief executive. Not in a care home, not in a cleaning company. I challenge them to be in top. Go and be chief executive of Amazon. Don't settle for less. So we need young people who are going to step up the gas. Not because you are young, you're expecting this to come in. No, show your ambition. You are ambitious. We have, now you see what Bobby Wine is doing. Is putting shame to all these elderly people in Uganda. Uganda has got one of the highest old people into power position. Museveni, he says he's 76. Janati is 70 plus. We have got so many. We have got Moses Sari. All these in 60s. Betty Kamya. What are they doing there? The problem with having older people in power, they don't want to listen to young people. That is the attitude in Uganda. They don't want to listen to young people. But then in developed countries, they listen to young people. So that is the difference. And the difference is Uganda is a failed state. Or Africans, we are beggars, we are dependent on these nations who have got young people into the position of power. So we need to start that. The danger, we are slipping down. Museveni came in power and said, problem is people overstaying in power. So now as we are counting his 36 years, he is over 77 years. The man is sleeping, is very slow. He cannot appear. He cannot cope with the demands of this generation. He cannot use a laptop. He cannot communicate in any way. As you can see that Bobby Wine will retweet, Bobby Wine will be on Facebook, Bobby Wine will be on Zoom. So the problem, the challenges is that these elderly people being in position of power is not helping us, is not taking us anywhere. How do they stay in power? They stay in power by intimidation. They start intimidating people. You support so and so, you are going to be in trouble. So they'll be intimidating, and then they will have sympathy. Elders, they told me to stand up. Elders, they ask me to stay in power. Elders, and they find people who say, I have a person that I know. He tells me, leave him, Museveni. He's old. He's going to die. Don't push him. Don't do this. Why would we do that? We are not here to have sympathy. It's about Ugandans. We want Ugandans to be a country that prospers. We want Uganda to be a country that is going to work its way with the generation that understands, with the generation on the pace. As we stand for now, Uganda is off the pace. That is the problem we are talking about. Young people, Job Odoi, Which young people are you talking about? I'm talking about young people from the age of 18. 18 is a yardstick that young people, they are old enough to be responsible. We have so many graduates from our institutions. Those are young people. We need young people to be mentored, not elderly people who were born, or Job or Doi, you think that they were born to be leaders. They are leaders, but they are not adding something to you, to the country. Job Odoi, the pension is there. I'm going to talk about it. The pension is there for the reason. Retirement, I'm going to talk about it, is there for the reasons. They have to retire and let young people come into position of power. They take mentor of their country. We cannot go on like this. So how do they? There are tricks to cling on power, intimidation. Then they rely on sympathy. They starve people of their services. Now you can see Museveni atuyambe tubeere n'eddwaliro, Museveni atuyambe tubeere n'eddagala, Museveni atuyambe atuweeyo ssente. For me, I call it the best song in Uganda. So people, they are being starved of service, public services, education, health, job, employment, housing, and transportation. And then when you get starved of these services, what happens? What happens? It makes you a beggar. When it makes you a beggar in order to submit. So you are being starved of your rights. You are being starved of your entitlement. And these people, they are elderly. They are not listening. The problem I have, I don't have a problem with the age. The problem I have, we have to be listeners. Young people should speak and they should be listened. Elderly people, put your what? Your experience on the table, we use it. But how are we going to create employment? How are we going to create jobs when they are being occupied by these elderly people? The problem we have in Uganda, we have one of the youngest population job odoi. And if you want Uganda to take off, to move on, we must mentor young people into positions of responsibility. We must give young people work experience. But what we are doing, we are keeping Uganda young people. They have got qualification. They are well trained. And what we are doing, you find like, let me give an example. My comrade J.B. Mwonge. One day I heard about him 4 years on YouTube, and they said he's doing all this technology, not because it is his qualification, but it is out of his qualification. But we have people who have got qualification that they can do their job very well. And that is one of the problems, that there is no job creation. Once job creation is not there, Uganda is going to suffer. It will never develop. It will never create jobs. There won't be an economic growth, and that is going to bring instability. You like it or not? So how do they do it? They starve people of services, makes them beggar in order to submit. Whether you like it or not, you find now people, they say, oh, I'm going to take money. You find people who are going to say, what is happening now? So when these people, this is how they do it. They make you so poor. They make you a beggar. They kill off the younger generation. And you find yourself that the young generation is just begging. The youngest generation is begging. People, they grow up in poverty, and their mind, they already defeated. They are like, you cannot talk about this. So when we see that, and then another way they do it, they compromise the media. They intimidate the media. You can see Robert Kyagulanyi is not allowed to appear any BS, any TV. It's his other outlet who bypass the way, and they have interviews on home. But he will not be in the studio of any TV And he has never stepped even in UBC. Can you imagine a president elected and now a president of leaders of how many MPs? But what we see, Besigye is always there. FDC is always there. Other parties, Mawe is always there. But Robert Kyagulanyi is not there because he's a challenger. He's a young people, has challenged the people, and the end of is not even he is not young. He's old enough to be a president. When you talk about 39 years, Macron is about 42 years. Macron is 4 years older than Bobby Wine. And Macron has been a president of France for how many years? Goodness knows. Bobby is in the age that we need a young people to lead Uganda because he's of that generation. He understands the problem. Young people, they look at him. He has inspired so many people. He speaks the language. He's down to earth. He understands the problem of what Uganda needs. But where we are now, these people, they are adamant. They are not listening to anybody. They are in the position of power. And the next time, no, we are not moving. They don't want. The poverty is killing people. People are dying, but they won't listen to anybody. So when we talk about elderly people, they must retire. They must retire. And then how do they cling on power? They bring in treason cases on Uganda, on those who challenges them, especially those with the potential to oust them out of power. And you can see treason cases has become even as useless as nothing in Uganda. Bobby Wine guru treason, Segrinya now, and then they change. We have a Nanga who is a liar. We have judiciary, which is not good enough. So when we look at this as something that you can see that Ugandans is not going anywhere that we want. And then how do they cling on power? EC, the EC is the president who appoints the EC. It shouldn't be that way. He shouldn't be appointed by the president. And Biarakama, when he was appointed this time, he had not resigned. And that is a case that we didn't take it on. It is still in the court because if we took it any further, the election would have been nullified because he had to resign in order for him to be electoral commissioner, the EC chairman. But that was not taken into consideration. So when we look at Africans, not all Africans leaders. We have African who are older, who are young, but then we have African who have demonstrated democracy. We have Kenya, they have change of power peacefully. We have Tanzania, so far they have had 5 presidents, 1 is dead. And this lady is the 5th. Then we have got Liberia. These are countries that makes me envious. Zambia has stepped up the ladder and elected HH. The money is oozing. The money is talking democracy. He has brought calmness onto that. Then we have got South Africa. We have seen my number one hero, Nelson Mandela. He gave up power. We have got people, Zuma, following him. Then we have got Nigeria. Nigeria has taken on that. Then we have got Ghana. We have got Malawi. But why not Uganda? You're going to ask me, America has got elderly president. He has got this man who is in power now, and then Trump. Yes, they are old. The difference with Uganda is about rule of law. I said to you about the significance of rule of law. In America, the president is not having it his ways. The president cannot decide wherever he wants. The Supreme Court will come in, the legislature will come in, the House of Representatives will come in. But in Uganda, we have got an example. Museveni says, I want the bill to go through. You like it or not? And then they will start processing. Judges will be there who understands very well that any suspect has got rights over the bill. and then they just back down, and then the parliament will go ahead. So that is where we are now. So that is the difference. You can have older people in power, but are they obedient to the rule of law? Do they listen to others? That is one of the difference that we people we have to look at. People, they keep on. Museveni has been in power since 1986. So many people, they were born after Museveni. Joel Osenjonyi was born in December 1986. So many people, they were young. So when you look at that, so when we talk about problems, we look at the solutions. NUP has got one of the best manifestos that I'm proud about. NUP has got a manifesto 47 pages compared to 340 something for NRA. I read NUP manifesto every day. It's somewhere that we have to get familiar with. NUP is going to reply. First of all, it's going to reinstate term limits. Number one, 2 terms gone. Age limit is going to be reinstated. Then we have state pension is going to be established. One of the news I didn't tell you that NSSF has accepted it to give savers money, at least 20%. That money, we wait to see if it's going to be given to them. It was passed, so we are going to say. So we are going to create pension. We on that 5 appointments that we had 6. Asman Baswalira is the one responsible for the elderly. I challenge Asman Baswalira. Come up with something now for the elderly. Bring pension. You said people, they must retire at the age of 65. Men 65, men 65, then women 63. Then put there a condition that any pensioner, if you want to work, you can work for 15 hours. If you want more than 15 hours, you lose all your incentives. So NUP is going to create pension that is fit for purpose. You retire at some age. We can see people, they are still demanding their pension. They have never had it, and the pension they have sometimes is so little, and also the pension that they are entitled for, it end up being stolen. So we are going to look into employment, people contribution, the government state. But as we stand for now, Mama Mbabas is enjoying a state pension. His wife was having cancer grade 4, and she had so many millions allocated to her because she was the wife of the prime minister. We want every Ugandan to be entitled for pension. So we are going to restructure the word employment. We are going to create employment. We are going to bring minimum wage. We are going to use the law. We are going to make employers contribute. We are going to make individual contribute. We are going to have private pension. All that when we bring them into position, people, they are going to retire. People, they are going to retire. But as we stand for now, Museveni will not retire to go to Rajtura. Why wouldn't he go to Rajtura? But, okay, so I'm happy to talk about what NUP is going to do. I'm advocating for young people to be promoted into the position of power, political powers, position, not juniors, not behind the scene. We want, you see this young girl, 16, Gothenburg, from Sweden. She started the climate. She challenged Donald Trump. She challenged the whole world. What happened in Scotland, COP26? They sat, they listened. We want people who are brave. Yesterday, I was so happy by numbers. For me, when it comes for politics, she's one of the finest women we have in Uganda. You can talk about other things, they don't bother me. But she stands there and calls Janet to come out. Come and speak. It is important matter. We shall not allow that. FDC, they have never called. They have never called Janet to come. But numbers stood up. And now where we are, Janet is crying.
But an exercise by the Minister of Education to reach as many people as possible, including the MPs. When does the Minister of Education, therefore, intend to bring into this House for discussion the matters related to the reopening of schools? Mr. Speaker, we, your representatives in committees, are facing a very difficult situation. My deputy addressed you, Mr. Speaker, a while before I got here.
You know, we must have people like Numbers who are brave. Politically, we need to debate these people into their political arena. We need to go toe to toe with them. What we know that NRM is not there. So, NUP, what are we going to do? We have got the provision, the ambition to help younger entrepreneurs into to fund them, to fund their businesses, innovation, ideas, whatever they have, we are going to promote them. Then we have got mentorship. We are going to mentor young people into position of power. This is something that we have to take into account. I'm here on a Kyoto, I'm here on other platforms. You saw when Comrade Freddie Rumbuye was arrested, the media, the social media went a little bit quiet. So anybody who has got any platform, I advise you, mentor somebody to take over when you are not there. Get other people that if they ever kill you or go in prison or disappear or get sick, it still continues. That is something that we need to create into our employment and our mind. Because if you have something and you say you are the only one, if you are not there, it will not go ahead. You are losing, or Uganda is missing. So mentorship is so important, that we trust each other, and if they trust you, don't abuse it. We see people when they trust them, then they abuse it. They use platform to get money out of people, and they use platform to come and be rude. They use platform to come and be like abusive. That is not right. So NUP is going to create work experience programs that children, when they are senior folk, we can send them in a factory. Children, well, young people, secondary, they can have work experience. Can you imagine? A Ugandan now can qualify, is meant to have work experience, but they qualify, they haven't done work experience. There is very low. So we are going to look at what sort of business, what sort of Uganda that we need. We are not going to look at the low employment, earning employment, that people, they are going to work in markets, they are going to work as vendors. No, I said to you, when you see now Uganda Airlines is a hot potato of creating jobs, lot of jobs, meaningful jobs. But what we have nepotism. We have people who what? And then how NUP we are going to do it? We are going to look at recruitment that is not biased. Any now nepotism rules Uganda. Everywhere you go, who are you? Who sent you? Who are you? You can see people now when they come to say, they look like they are like from some one region. That is not going to be acceptable. NUP is going to employ people based on merit, based on their qualification. If they meet the criteria, they are going to be employed. So we are going to bring in employment law. We are going to bring in protection for elderly as well. Elderly, they will be protected. But our focus is going to look at the young people. Because look here, we've got these elderly people. No one is challenging them. You saw what happened to Abogo when he tried to bypass and challenge Museveni. He was locked out. We don't want that Charlie Gonza who say, who are you going to arrest me? We don't want people like Ochola in police. He's overseas 70. He's got nothing to offer. He dismisses the bill by Bobby Wine. So we want young people who are responsible, who are well-tuned, who are competent, that they are going to deliver. I encourage young people, put yourself online. Show us you are young. You are young, you wake up 11 o'clock. You are young, you don't want people to speak to you. You are young, you don't want to do things. You have to start from scratch somewhere and you work your way. But you look too soon. You want weddings for 150 millions. What do you want them for, young person? You are 20, you are having children. What are you doing? Young people, I'm here to advocate for you, but I'm here to tell you. Also, if you are young, you have to look as a young person. You find somebody who is young, he doesn't look anywhere young. He's not trimmed, he doesn't have the haircut, he doesn't have the skin, he doesn't smell like a young person. What you doing? We are advocating for you. And you older people, middle age, when the young people, they come to you, listen, when the young people, they come to you, take up their ideas, make them feel that they are normal, not because of their age, that they are valuable. Older people, mentor young people, give them a chance. This is one way we are going to make these elderly people out of power. But by showing that young people, they are able. This is what Bobby Wine is doing. He's the president of NUP, but he's allowing people to become. By the way, another news, our chief whip, Ndese, was 56 years. So you can see the flavor that we have in the NUP. So when we look at this, I'm looking at the cycle of the age. I'm looking at childhood. I'm looking at teenager. I'm looking at adult. I'm looking at middle age. I'm looking at over 50. I'm looking at retirement. And I'm looking at old age. When I'm looking at those ages, I'm looking at African leaders missing on that. And they end up messing our country. They end up that they don't want to live. You look at Museveni, did he have a childhood? He came to Uganda when he was 8 years old. Did he have a teenager life? I don't know if he did, because there is nothing. Somebody who has gone through teenager life and has had a chance to behave, you can see the way they behave. What about adult? When he became 20, what was he doing? Did that come into play? What about middle age? That is when he became a president at the age of 50, at the age of 40. And then he is over 50 years. He's being a president. He's not enjoying that with Janet, with his grandchildren. Retirement, he's refusing to retire. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Better to go than being pushed. That is where we are now. So elderly people, we are slipping into a danger of them being into position of power. And in Uganda is continuing. Even the leaders in church, they want you to be old. In church, imagine. Even everywhere we want elderly person and we want them to sit. We want them at the front. No, things they have to be on melt. That is how we are going to look at the world. We look at this as something that is not valuable, but is valuable. Having these elderly people into position of power is hurting because they are rigid. I don't mind. We saw Joe Biden of America is 80 plus, but he knelt down onto that black man who was killed through the child. Can Museveni do it? Can you see Janet Museveni is 70 years? She refused to go into parliament. She wanted people to meet her in Ikololo after being vaccinated, after being checked for what? What is all that? It can be. We are having elderly people into the position of power. They are refusing to go. They are intimidating people. They are using sympathy. They are not letting young people develop their talent. We have got so many young people who are ambitious to be leaders, to be minister of finance. Look at Kasaja. To be health ministers, to be minister of education, to work on our pension, to come. But what we are doing, NUP, we are coming with the digital. We are going to phase out all this because that is the word, and we are going to mature. We are going to feed on the young people. Once we bring in digital, young people, they are going to feed on that. It's going to be easy to look what is going in Chigezi on digital. Look what is going in Gulu, Kasese, Lusaka Mese. You on the digital. That is what it is. Just like you have your mobile phone. It's got this future GPRS. Wherever you go, As soon as you get to Bweyogere, soon as you get to Kalisizo, soon as you get to Chotera, as soon as you get to Lusaka Mese, those are the technologies available that we are going to use. We no longer want these older people who need to be paid 18 billion transport to traverse the country, and they want vehicles. You saw what happened to the vehicle of Nabanja. Broke down, mid of the road. She had to get out. She had to use another vehicle. We want young people. You saw Bobby Wine. 1 minute he jumps on border. 1 minute. Well, we are going to have mix and match. That is the Uganda that we want. A new Uganda for everybody. We are not going to have a Uganda for elderly people in the position of power only. We are going to have it mix and match. And any elderly is going to be there by melt. And any elderly who insisted to be there is going to lose their pension rights. He is going to lose their pension incentives, because we have to bring in a policy that is going to encourage them to retire, and we are going to prepare them good incentives, and that is going to be there. That is where we need to go. So, fellow Ugandans, thank you very much for joining me. I love you. You know I love you. You give me courage. I read your comments. Wow. For me, there is no bad comment. There is no good comment. But I'm going to come back with the Matia Kasaja. I got some facts for you to come to bring to you. I got some news about Matia Kasaja. Me and Matia Kasaja, we are very, very friends. We are good friends. And it's gonna be me to get him in. Matia Kasaja, I'm coming for you. I've got some news about Matia Kasaja that Ugandans we need to know. So we are here on all this platform. Thank you very much spending your time in this morning watching me. Thank you very much for hosting me. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you much for your interaction. But I just briefly, the topic is too big, briefly talked about the dangers of having elderly people in the position of power, because they won't be, it is affecting job creation and the development of the country. And they are leading now, as we can see, we have got so many Ugandans. They are getting out of Uganda to go and get jobs somewhere else. So Uganda has got a brain drain, and that is why you see the hospitals, they are empty. You saw teachers making bricks. You can see teachers flying out, going to be employed. So why is that happening? Because we have got elderly people in position of power. They cling on that. They won't give up power. They don't want to leave. They don't care. They have lost it. They don't have empathy. They don't think about other. All they think about is their children. Sam Kutesa has got all his children positioned, MP, ambassador, everywhere. They have all got jobs. You remember when Museveni said he doesn't have, his children don't have to suffer because he planned for them very well. That is not the Uganda we want. We want young people to be in position of power. We want the mix and match that who are going to deliver for Uganda. We want people to retire. We want to bring in term limits. We want people to retire. That is why the leader of opposition proposed that we should have the upper and the lower house. People like Besigye can go in the lower house. Museveni doesn't want to go, he can go there. But other news I have for us, people who come from Sakara Mese, Bokoto Central, we got rid of Sekandi, who was the vice president, who was the MP of our area. We got rid of him. Unfortunately, the member of parliament who was elected in my area, he has gone on to join in national to join in NRM. But however, we start one by one, and that one we will get him out. At least the first one, we gave the ready card to vice president. Second, so fellow Ugandans, today Thursday. Tomorrow, my living hero, Tina Turner, is gonna be 82. I love you so much. Munich is thank you for that birthday bash. I love Tina Turner to earth. She inspires me. She has overcome racism. She has overcome violence. She's an entertainer. The songs that she sings, for me, they make me going. My favorite is a private dancer. So, Tina Turner, happy birthday tomorrow, 26th November. I love you. You are my hero. You are my living hero. I dedicate everything this program to you, Tina Turner. You know what? You know I love you. So, people love you. Salute. People power, our power. NUP everywhere, everywhere. NUP, NUP is my party. Salute. Have a nice day, viewers.